Good morning. Welcome to each and every one of you joining us today from near and far to Palomar Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My name is Holly Herring, a member of the Sunday Services Committee, and I'm happy to be here this morning to greet you. Our minister, the Reverend Beth Johnson, is our chat chaplain today, so she is here, but she'll be with us again in her usual role next week. It brings me so much joy to be in this place, even if it is virtual for the moment, with such amazing people this summer who are exploring and celebrating the idea of thriving together. If you are new to us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. Each week, we light a candle in acknowledgement that the land that our fellowship is on is stolen land. We do this so that we keep in the forefront of our minds that the land we call ours was taken, that we as a nation caused irreparable harm and trauma to the first peoples of this land, the Luiseño Nation and the Kumeyaay Nation. These people are still here among us today, left to recover from that trauma generations later. If you wish to know who the first people were on the land that you are currently on, you can find that information through the link in the chat box. We ring the bell 3 times. Once for those who came before, once for those who are here today, and once for those who are yet to come.
Good morning. As some of you may have seen, the tagline for today's service is "Get on the Bus," the Palomar Unitarian Universalist Fellowship road trip through life. This got me thinking this week about what it means to be together in this time of COVID-19. I was thinking about web surfing and reading all the ways people have developed to stay connected during this pandemic, and they are nothing less than small miracles. Families who rarely got together in person are now having weekly Zoom game nights. People have created plastic screens with plastic armholes so grandkids can safely hug their grandparents. And neighbors who may have never met before are reaching out to each other to make sure that they're okay. These are just a few of the small miracles that are happening every day during COVID that bring us together. I came across these words from Reverend Dr. Cynthia Lundrum, a UU minister in Michigan. She helped to tidy up my scattered thoughts and faint understanding of how to express my feelings and my thoughts. Here are her words. Spirit of life and love, we gather together in different ways this morning, from computer screens, from telephones, from car radios. We gather, reaching out across the wires, waving from a safe distance, to come together in religious community. From living room to front porch to car seat, we gather as we are able, ready to be of service to each other, to the world, ready to build the community of hope and of love as we face this bright morning. We are apart, but we are together, offering our love, our commitment, our hope, and our prayers in service to one another and this world. This is a new way, but it's an old way that we have come together in worship. It's a roadmap of sorts for our bus.
Each week, we light a chalice along with other UU congregations around the world. This week, as I invite you to light a chalice wherever you are with me, I read the words of Nina Hayen. I'm quoting Nina when I say, "With my poetry, I invite you to walk with me. Let my words be a companion on your journey of life. Let me ease your path a little bit and help you find that which your heart is longing for. Because my poems don't really belong to me, they belong to you. They belong to the people who find comfort and courage in them, whose hearts resonate with their message. Breathe deeply. Let your body sink into the arms of silence, the deep solace of a soul at peace. Stop the world for just one moment and inhale the soothing still. Rest your mind for just one instant and let your breath steer you home. When I was a young girl, I was afraid of bugs. Pretty much all bugs scared me because I'd be minding my own business, hanging out, and then boom, there's a bug. Just out of the blue when I'm playing, a jumping spider or a creepy crawly earwig would pop out of nowhere, disturbing the mud pie baking I was hard at work on, just to make me scream and spill my apple juice everywhere. To a 5-year-old, that was a pretty traumatic experience. If you asked 5-year-old Holly right then, she'd look you right in the eye and say, that was a traumatic experience. Being scared by that bug and spilling my juice in the middle of my otherwise normal day. Okay, 5-year-old Holly probably wouldn't have used those words to talk about the trauma she had just experienced. I can think of a lot of traumas I have experienced in my life, and I'm sure that you can too. It's not fun. It sure feels a lot better after I work on healing and recovering from my trauma. When I was a little bit older, my sisters and I had been left home alone for a few days while our mother had gone somewhere. My mother wore these long, individual fake eyelashes. You know, some women have the strip of fake eyelashes that they press onto a little line of sticky goop that they put along their eyelid. Well, my mother had these long, individual fake eyelashes that she would dab a tiny glop of sticky goop on one end and then stick that to her eyelid. She would use the goop to stick a multitude of lashes on each lid. But she also had this habit of playing with her lashes between her thumb and forefinger until they'd come unstuck and then fall off onto the floor or a table. So while my mother was away on this vacation and left all her daughters in the house, a big gaggle of girls, this group of sisters decided we wanted to go into our mother's bedroom and look at the jewelry she kept in a box on her dresser. We had wood floors leading down the hallway and into the bedrooms. As we swung open the door to the bedroom that day, the movement stirred up the air on the smooth wood floors, and a large collection of fallen, lost eyelashes scurried across the floor, looking a lot like a fast-moving, renegade attack spider. All of us girls saw it at the same time, and the sound that left our mouths had to have the neighbors thinking there was a Beatles concert happening at our place. We were absolutely terrified. That, my friends, is a lot like a collective trauma. There was this group of people going about their lives, just looking forward to seeing some pretty jewelry in their own home, and bam, spider trauma interrupts their ordinary, calm lives to strike some fear into the whole group. This is like collective trauma. The whole group reached out for each other in a big group hug. We collectively healed with big exhales and exaggerated body movements. We experienced some collective healing for our collective eyelash trauma.
No, thank you, Holly, for that story. I am one of Spider's least favorite fans myself. Okay, but moving on. I wish to remind us now why we are all here on this hot, sunny Sunday. Today, we are gathered in our virtual worship space to listen, think, expand our minds, and mostly to share the experience with each other. Our covenant allows us to come together in a way that feels safe. And when it doesn't feel safe, it affords us the ability to have a conversation and find a remedy. Our covenant does not promise that we will behave or communicate justly or properly in every instance. I know I have not. But our covenant gives us the chance to learn and get back on the bus as we ride this journey together. This is our covenant, written by us and for us. In mutual love and grace, we journey together, grounded in a profound respect for a diversity of beliefs and ideas, sustained by service and shared ministry, enriched through collective spiritual deepening and a safe environment for all generations to thrive. Please join me. Together, we are more than we would ever be alone. Therefore, we promise to practice radical hospitality, mindful communication, and active stewardship. Thus do we covenant with each other.
So, Holly spoke about the fact that we feel better after we heal trauma. And not only can we have collective trauma, but we can have a community of healing. And in that vein, I'm hoping that you will sing along with me. Hopefully the words will be in the chat for Comfort Me. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul.
Thank you, Kimberly. Earlier in this service, you heard me describe my individual trauma of a bug interrupting my play, and then about an experience I had as part of a group of individuals who walked right into a collective trauma of finding that eyelash attack spider. As an individual, I healed, and as a collective, we healed together. Right now, our world, our country, our state, our county, our city, our band of merry congregants at Palomar UU Fellowship even, are experiencing a collective trauma, while we experience so many shocking and out of the ordinary disturbances in our lives. We are sometimes shocked, sometimes scared, sometimes outraged by what new traumatic things pop out at us unexpectedly. I could name the traumatic things that have been happening all around us, but I don't need to. You and I, all of us, are experiencing these traumas as a collective. I haven't heard any sounds like a bunch of girls at a Beatles concert come out of our fellowship yet, so I'm encouraged by that. But I'm sure that a lot of us have wondered about how our whole congregation is doing and how we're healing together. I've thought of this way to explain this whole process of how all of us in this congregation are moving forward through our collective trauma to heal ourselves. We all play a part in this. If you don't think you're important enough or contributing enough, think again. You're playing a role. Imagine, if you will, all our members, visitors, Palomar UU Fellowship friends are going on this big road trip in a bus. I have the feeling that if we had a Palomar UU bus, it would be a Volkswagen bus with flowers painted on it and a big rainbow on top. We'd all get on that bus and go on our road trip together. We'll call that road trip life. Here, I made a picture of the bus. See? Imagine us all on there. There's the bus. A nice rainbow following us around, pretty flowers. We probably all got together and painted it down the sides. It looks like a nice bus for a road trip. Now, when you go on a road trip, there are all these seats on the bus, and everyone plays a role on the ride. I figure if I visualize all of us from Palomar UU as if we're on the bus going through life together, it might explain how we will collectively heal from the traumatic things going on all around us right now. Surely we aren't all in the driver's seat, right? That doesn't make any sense at all. One, it would be really uncomfortable if everyone piled into one seat and grabbed a tiny bit of steering wheel and drove like that. Two, there's so many other seats on the bus. There are necessary seats to be filled. Let's think about the seats in vehicles going on these road trips. I created this image here to show all these different seats that need to be filled. We have these seats like the driver, the jump seat, the planner, the relief driver, there's the rumble seat, the lookout, backseat driver, and right there in the center, there's a dog on there too. Someone has to be the navigator in the passenger seat. How else would we know how to get there? The navigator studies maps and other sources to find the best route to go and to take note of any road closures that we may need to find our way around. There's generally a backseat driver alerting us to bumps in the road, reminding us we missed a turn, pointing out that we might be suddenly driving too fast or dangerously close to another car sharing the road. The backseat driver sometimes has a negative connotation attached to them, but we need backseat drivers too. Now, the driver can't just drive nonstop forever. We need a relief driver. We probably need 20 relief drivers. We all need to take turns so that we make this a safe journey. We're well rested and fed on this bus ride through life. Okay, there's always a planner too. And I can say with confidence that that tends to be me on any road trip. Personally, I think about the needs of everyone on the trip. What types of nutrition will we need? What about fluids? Do we need tissues? Do we need blankets to stay warm when we nap? How often should we stop and stretch our legs? If there's a dog on the bus, and of course there's a dog on the bus, what will we need for the dog? We need a planner. And the dog. So if Holly's on the bus, and she is, there's at least one dog too. There's probably more. The dog is necessary for stress relief in heavy traffic, for comedic relief when you get out to stretch your legs, for assisting in meeting new people at stops, for forcing time to play, and for reminding me that I always have a buddy eager to go on long trips through life with. We don't even need to talk with a dog, just warm looks and soft fur is all the interaction needed. There's all these other seats on the bus. Sometimes we change seats or roles as we get more or less comfortable with who we're on the ride with. Some drivers do well in heavy traffic and congestion. Some prefer quiet country roads. Some navigators don't see well in the dark and at night and prefer to navigate only by day. Sometimes the navigator becomes a driver after a long time in his or her seat and is ready to tackle the driving. We can accommodate all of these preferences and needs with all the people on our bus. Now, when you think about these seats and the roles on the big bus ride through life and coming through big traumas of road closures and traffic, maybe we even drove by some accidents. How does that look when we picture our congregation? What seats or roles do we have in our congregation as we support each other and heal collectively through these traumas all around us? I made a picture for that too. We are all doing something to contribute to our collective healing. Sometimes you might not even realize that you're contributing. Probably one or two of us are at home and maybe we don't feel like being at a protest, or maybe advocating just isn't a skill that is possessed. So maybe the thing those people do is call their friends in our spiritual home and see how they're doing. Maybe they pray for the rest of the congregants. Some people sing our songs all around their homes and gardens and let the wind catch the words, carry them off to the rest of us like a meditation. Sometimes there are people researching and sharing their information on social media so that the rest of us have accurate and up-to-date information, and that's how that seat on the bus is being utilized. Folks, I cannot continue without mentioning the dog again. We need the dogs. Some of you prefer cats or birds. I know at least one of you has chickens. These are needed for those times when we need a break from humanity for a minute, and we can feel like there's still a love so pure in our lives and around us that goes beyond speaking our same verbal language and goes right to furry, stress-relieving companionship on another level. That dog I have in my life is in your life too. I know you watch her pop in when I'm on Zoom and you smile because you know I'm never alone and I'm always loved. I bet you feel better knowing that I am healed as an individual by having that dog. When you see my dog love on me, the rest of you smile and relax. You heal a little bit too. Together we experience relief and joy. Being able to acknowledge and feel that joy lets us know that we collectively are healing. I made a slide that shows who we sometimes think is on the bus. That looks like a bus full of drivers, doesn't it? In that image, we don't see any of the other riders filling our bus seats at all. Yes, some of us are leaders in the marches and we're more visible than the rest of us. We as a fellowship are all doing our part to lead the whole bus to a place of healing from the injustices that we see, the pandemic that we battle, the shortages of supplies we fear, and the appearances of foes of animal, vegetable, and mineral composition. Sometimes we think it's just those out there with signs at protests that are on the bus. I made a slide to show who else is on the bus. There's those that are staying home to keep themselves and others safe. There's some who are marching, some meditating, feeding others, writing letters and researching. Some of us vote. There are those who are praying and some making phone calls, and still others are singing on that picture of the bus. The journey of healing has a destination, just like our road trip in our big Palomar UU Fellowship bus. When we heal, we begin doing something amazing. As an individual, when I escaped my own trauma, people began referring to me as a survivor. That was a really great badge of honor at that point because it meant that I escaped with my life and my safety intact. Surviving is fabulous, but something else happens as you heal from trauma and you've been surviving for a while. When you really start grabbing hold of the concept of being okay, being safe in your surroundings, when you start believing it, and when being strong becomes natural because you've practiced it, You become a thriver, not just a survivor. As a busload of UU congregants on a journey through these traumatic events on the road trip we're calling life, we will do more than just survive. We will thrive. Thriving means we will become so much stronger and confident that people will see our bus and start their own road trips to get some of that collective healing so that they can thrive like us. Bus after bus after bus will start popping up, just packed full of thrivers making changes in their communities. Soon the whole county will be full of buses. Then the state, the country, the world. Friends, members, visitors of Palomar UU Fellowship, today I'm asking you to bring all of the ways that you contribute and pile on the bus. Grab your dogs, your cats if you must, your voter registration, your letter writing abilities, your megaphones, your web browsers to research and start praying, meditating, singing, and let's collectively heal and show others it can be done. It can be done.
Thank you, Holly. In a moment, Holly will tell us about this quarter's plate share, produce goods. But first, I'll remind us how and why we do this. We gather each week to affirm this community. Part of this affirmation is acknowledging that we all share with one another, our time, our talents, and our resources. We live our values by sharing half of our undesignated collection with a local nonprofit organization. If you are currently in a position to give or continue making your pledge payments, there are several ways that you can do that, even in the midst of this pandemic. You can write a check and mail it to our office, or check with our office administrator to find out how to set up auto payments through our database. Or it is very easy to donate through text to give. You can see the instructions or in the chat box in a moment after Holly tells us some information about this quarter's plate share.
Our plate share beneficiary this quarter is Produce Goods. Produce Goods is a San Diego nonprofit that provides 38 servings of produce for every $10 donated to those experiencing food insecurity. Families and individuals who have not been able to afford enough food to support their life and health experience trauma. There's fear and stress associated with not being able to feed your hungry children or yourself. Sometimes that trauma continues long after no one has any kind of issue having nutritious food for their family. If you are able and willing to donate to the plate share beneficiary this quarter, you are directly contributing towards healing that trauma of food insecurity. As a reminder, the text to give instructions will appear on your screen, and it is in your chat box as well. Please be generous if you are able.
Step by step, the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none.
As you step off the Palomar UU Fellowship bus today, remember that as individuals and as a community, we support each other and the wider world through our connections. We make our phone calls and we march. We share the love of our dogs and we wear our face coverings. We sing, we meditate, and we pray. And collectively, we heal until we do more than survive. We thrive. As we thrive, we show the whole world and all its inhabitants that they can thrive too. Share the warmth and the wonder that you take from the bus with the people you connect with. Let its glow empower you and remind you of all that is possible until we gather again in this place of love.
Please join me in our chalice extinguishing words. Although we extinguish this flame, we carry in our hearts the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. Until we are together again.
Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. And justice. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. And singing. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. So go in peak, go in peace, be makers of peace, and don't go too far because Katya is going to let us know now about coffee hour and what we need to do to connect that way. Thank you so much. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.